It is Wednesday, June 29, 2016. Welcome to the Government News Brief. In the news, the National Grade 6 Assessment results to be released next Tuesday, no outbreak of poultry disease, ICT to bridge hinterland and coastland, and Guyana now capable of hosting regional and international basketball games. I am Azim Khan with the details of these and other stories. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Here are the details. The National Grade 6 Assessment results will be released on Tuesday, July 5, 2016, the Ministry of Education said today in a release. The National Grade 6 Assessment was written on April 27 and 28, 2016, more than 3 weeks later than the previous years. The Ministry had extended the date to allow teachers sufficient time to complete the Grade 6 curriculum and give students additional time within which to prepare for the assessments. Over 14,000 students wrote this year's National Grade 6 Assessment. There is no outbreak of poultry disease, says the Guyana Livestock Development Authority. The laboratory is equipped to test for any outbreak. Details in this report. The Guyana Livestock Development Authority was not advised of any case of loss of poultry by a Region 6 farmer as reported in the press today. Acting head of the GLDA, Dr. Dwight Waldron, told Gina that the authority intends to intervene and investigate the news report, although it has received no official report.
For these small poultry farmers, we haven't received any other reports. Okay, so this you can say that, well, this is an isolated case and we need to deal with it. But we won't stop there, as I said. We need to look at the entire chain. We look at feed, the entire batch. We need to know where the chickens came from. So we look at the signs and symptoms, the clinical ones, and then we're going to take it from there.
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, George Jarvis, under which the GLDA falls, says the ministry didn't receive any report. Jarvis, who learnt of the issue via an article in one of today's daily newspapers, advised that the report is misleading. Both Jarvis and Waldron reported that the GLDA is fully equipped with the necessary skills and facilities to conduct test samples on poultry.
There was no way a farmer could have issues as reported in this newspaper and could have come to our office and we say we have no equipment to test it. Because the purpose of this IDB funded vet lab was to do exactly what this farmer needs to have done.
The Permanent Secretary advised that Guyana has one of the better laboratories in the Caribbean to do specific testing. The lab, which was commissioned in 2014, does testing for poultry, and in the event the tests are inconclusive, the GLDA is obligated to send the samples overseas to several internationally recognized universities, including the University of the West Indies, the University of Texas, and the University of Georgia for further testing. Information and Communications Technology will be the vehicle to link the hinterland to the coastland with a massive ICT project to be undertaken by the Ministry of Public Telecommunications. Find out more in this report.
This process has begun with an Information Communication Technology ICT Needs Assessment being conducted in hinterland and rural communities, which will pave the way for ICT access and e-services projects in these areas. Minister of Public Telecommunication Kathy Hughes says that the project will result in major development for health and education and the creation of economic opportunities for hinterland communities.
When you look at the impact on the development of those communities, the fact that those communities in a tourism construct have beautiful hammocks that some of the women in Surama could sell. But how are they going to get their hammocks out to a Georgetown location? Or if someone in North America wants to buy a hammock from the women in Surama, is there a website? Can they order it online? Can they see the hammock with some nice digital images? And can that woman have an opportunity to support her family better by using the technology that allows her to stay right there in Surama, in her hammock, under a tree, and sell her hammocks to any part of the world?
Communities will benefit from the installation of ICT infrastructure and networks for internet and telephone access, training on the installation, use and maintenance of ICT infrastructure and networks, ICT literacy and provision of e-services, including emphasis on e-learning. This project will be launched by the end of this year through funding from the Guyana Red Plus Investment Fund, GRIF.
Look at the education side. The fact that we have so many teachers that don't want to go to hinterland communities. The fact that we have hundreds of students every year that don't have the opportunity to get the same kind of education that you will have on the coast. The inequalities of that in itself. The fact that quite often the few good teachers or teachers that are committed from the hinterland, when they come out to teacher training college, quite often don't want to go back to their communities. And therefore, e-commerce, ICT, doing education and classes through Skype that would allow the same teachers that are teaching at Queen's College or Bishops or St. Rose's to also through Skype teach a child in any other part, in Anai, at the Bena Hill Institute. That is the vision that public telecommunications can bring and realize.
This project will also put Guyana firmly on the road towards achieving universal ICT education. This process was set in train with the tabling of the Telecommunication Liberalization Bill on May 24, 2016. For the Government News Brief, Sinika Thorne reporting.
Guyana can now host regional and international basketball games as the government plugs $20 million to upgrade the facility. More in this Isaiah Braffett report.
For the first time in history, the Caribbean Basketball Federation CBC Games will be held in Guyana. Government support to the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall to the tune of $20 million has made this possible. Director of Sports Christopher Jones, speaking to the Government Information Agency, explains.
These FIBA certified basketball goals, it's the first time Guyana as a country in general have these equipment in country. So immediately right there, and then we have created history. It's the first time. In the sense too that it now places Guyana in a position of which we can now host regional and international tournaments because of the FIBA certified basketball goals that we currently have in country. So history has been created right there.
Jones said the development of the basketball court would make a difference to Guyanese basketball players.
They always have been at a disadvantage because they would have been accustomed to playing with the goals that we had there from 1987 thereabout. And when they go abroad, then it's a completely different basketball goal. New environment, it puts a difficulty on any athlete who have been training and preparing for same. So now Guyana basketballers are on par with those persons in the region and of course internationally.
The equipment which arrived last night is expected to be installed and commissioned by July 2nd. The Director of Sports said that the government will continue to lend support to the development of sports in Guyana. The Caribbean Basketball Confederation Games are scheduled to kick off on July 3rd with 2 games. Antigua and Barbuda will take on the Bahamas, while Barbados will go up against the British Virgin Islands. Isaiah Braffett for the Government News Brief.
Works are on the way to address the increasing electricity demand in the new town of Lethem. Renetta LeFleur gives us the details.
To facilitate the growing demand for electricity in Lethem, the power station has been moved to the industrial site at Bond Success. Chief Executive Officer, Hinterland Electrification Company, Inc., Horace Williams explains.
There's a plan also to extend electricity to that area. As a matter of fact, we already have a preliminary design to construct the network within the industrial area to supply whoever will be establishing facilities within the industrial center.
Efforts are also on the way to ensure that homes without electricity and the relatively new Culver City housing scheme receive power.
To extend electricity to a new housing scheme called Culver City. That housing scheme will have over 600 house lots. And so we've already started the procurement process to get materials to extend the existing network to that housing area so that the house lots, when they are occupied, the households will have access to the electricity supply.
With the technical upgrades being completed, consumers will benefit from a more efficient power cycle. To complement these measures, the Mucka Mucka Hydro Power Plant will also be upgraded to improve the supply of electricity to the region.
We're actively pursuing that. I can tell you that recently we have invited proposals for the redevelopment of the Mokomoka Hydro to supply electricity to the grid, to supplement the diesel generation that we're doing right now. So the main reason for upgrading the Mokomoka feeder is to facilitate the transfer of power from the Mokomoka Hydro when it's developed to the grid in Lethem.
As the administration injects large sums of money to ensure adequate electricity supply in Lethem, similar investments are also being made to utilize renewable energy sources to supply communities that are far away from the electricity grid in the region. Renetta LaFleur for this Government News Brief.
Persons facing social challenges in Region 9 will soon benefit from a number of measures aimed at bringing relief to those affected. More in this Glendon Greenwich report.
A range of interventions, including a multi-agency approach, will be rolled out in the region to provide social services. The region is plagued by issues of trafficking in persons, child labor, school dropouts, and teenage pregnancy. Additionally, a number of persons need public assistance and old age pension. Minister of Social Protection Valda Lawrence, after a recent visit to the region, said that the issues raised will be addressed.
The regional chairman has undertaken to provide us with a building so that we can have a presence, a full presence in Region 9, because I believe that while it is not at the level that's the social issues as it is in Region 8, that it's not too far away from that. And so we need to address it head on, and I look forward to that cooperation from them.
To support interventions, a local board of guardians was installed. The board will work closely with the Social and Welfare Department to bring relief to those in need. The Mayor and Town Council of the region established a Social Development Committee to aid the relief measures. Head of the committee, Eubal MacDonald, said that a number of labor violations will be addressed.
Our main issue of concern is that on the commercial zone, our Amerindian people especially has been employed and been exploited because they have them working overtime, and now they're working as a percentage. When they were employed, that was never on the contract or whatever, but now they're working as a percentage. If they don't sell that week, they won't get paid.
MacDonald added that workers are also paid in reals, which when exchanged for local currency is far less than agreed wages. MacDonald added that the committee is also looking into the issue of child labor.
I've visited some of the stores in Lethem too, and I've noticed they have teenagers working in the stores. There's child labor. And that's why I've been stressing so much for a labor officer to be in the region, because some of these workers work these people and don't pay them.
Addressing and curtailing these societal ills lays the platform for residents and commuters to tangibly enjoy government's efforts in agriculture, health, education, housing, and water. For this Government News Brief, Namila Baines-Rowe.
That concludes today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on our website at www.gina.gov.gy. Stay updated, subscribe to our website and YouTube channel, and follow us on Facebook. We have recently revamped our website to make it more user-friendly. Please help us by providing feedback on how we can make your browsing experience better. You can submit your feedback at info@gina.gov.gy or by liking and following us on our Facebook page. Join us again tomorrow as Gina brings you another edition of the Government News Brief. Thank you for watching.